to help us discuss this humanitarian crisis and potential solutions is the Very Reverend Justin Lindstrom, Dean of St. Paul's Episcopal Cathedral. Reverend Lindstrom, thank you so much for being here.
It's great to be here.
Talk to us about, from a big picture, your view of the situation and why you have a passion for finding a solution.
Yeah, my passion comes from the fact that if it was my child, I would want someone to be doing something about it. If something tragic happened in our Oklahoma City economy, and I had to go find a job somewhere else or in a different country, and I wanted my children and my wife to come and meet up with me, I'd want them to be able to do that safely and securely. And so it's of great concern for me that we have children that are just simply walking over the border by themselves, but they're in search of something better that they can't have in their own country.
So we just heard from Oklahoma's congressional delegation talking about what the solution should or shouldn't be. Let's start right there with the problem you identified. What do you feel the government's role or government solution should be in this situation?
I think we first have to care for the children, give them adequate food, housing, that kind of thing, to not treat them as prisoners. But I think the issue is multifaceted. We can secure our borders all we want. We can have immigration reform. But until we begin to work with the countries that people are coming from and help to revitalize their economies, to remove the drug trafficking, the sex trafficking, all those things that are very hurtful to families that they're escaping from, we're going to see people coming into this country. They're going to want to come to Oklahoma City. Our economy is good. It's a beautiful place to live, and they want the best that they can have for their families, just like you and I would want for our own families.
That is definitely a middle concept that we talk about here on the middle ground. What is that point we can all agree on? Dean Justin, tell me, what do you know about locally? What efforts to help these children or efforts in terms of the immigration issue are you aware of that are taking place in our community?
Catholic Charities here in the city is taking a huge leadership role. The Oklahoma Conference of Churches, which I'm a part of, is taking a leadership role in really helping to identify what the issues might be and where we can help. But it is difficult because of just the situation that we are in. Not anyone can go in to Fort Sill. Not everyone is allowed in to work with the children and to give them the care that they need. And so these organizations are struggling, but I think they're finding a healthy pathway to what we can do. So I would check in with both of those organizations if you're interested as a citizen of how you can help out.
Have you or anyone that you're close with been down to Fort Sill or been to any of these locations, or have you heard any reports back on
I have not, and have not been down there to see.
What do you think, just in general, about Oklahoma's approach? The legislature is obviously not in session. This is an issue that could involve the National Guard, possibly not. But as a state, what would you like to see our posture be and possibly our leaders take a position on?
Yeah, I think it's simply trying to provide for the needs of the children, and if they're here with their mothers, to provide for them, to give them the adequate space that they need to be a family, whatever that might look like. I think asking them what they would want could be helpful as well. But I think also giving them legal assistance, trying to help them figure out what their status is, what might be their future. I think there's a great fear among not only those who have come here, but also us. If they're released into our community, what does that look like for us? But then I think they're in great fear too of being sent home, where there's incredible violence, the economy is poor, there's not adequate education, not adequate water, not adequate living space. You name it. Everything that we would want for our own families they don't have there.
Let's stick on this for a little bit and maybe recall back, I think it was about a year ago, maybe a little less, that you published an editorial where you talked about the golden rule and applying that to this situation. Start there, give us what your view was in writing that editorial, and then does that still apply your thoughts then today?
It sure does. It actually applies to almost everything that you can think about in life. But when I was thinking about that article and that editorial, I was thinking about what if that was my family? You know, what if something catastrophic happened here in Oklahoma City and in the United States, and I was forced to find work in a foreign country, and I went there, and then I wanted my family to come join me, and my family was told here in Oklahoma City that this guy who has a van or whatever it might be for a small amount of money or maybe even a large amount of money could get you reunited with your dad and your husband. They probably would pay that money and get them there. And so I think really, do unto others as we have them do unto us, it applies greatly to this whole situation. We've got to love and care for people.
And of course, I should mention that opinion editorial was published in the Oklahoman, probably on News OK's website. Well, Very Reverend Justin Lindstrom, thank you so much for being here with us today and for all that you're doing.
Appreciate it.
Coming up, we'll be one-on-one with an Oklahoman who knows firsthand what it takes and what it is like to go through the process of becoming a legal U.S. citizen. He'll be discussing what he is doing now to improve the immigration situation right here in our state.